Edward is in Isleworth. Edward, what would you like to say?
Hi, James. Nice to speak to you.
Likewise.
I'm a funeral director based in West London.
Okay.
Couple of my staff, young guys, one's 25, one's 30. They both haven't had the vaccine. Now, the reason they've told me they haven't had the vaccine, and there's quite a feeling among our industry of this, that actually the deadliness of the virus has been hugely overplayed. And for example, my guys wouldn't have a flu vaccine because they're only young guys, and yet there still are deaths every year from the flu.
They think that their characteristics, including age, protect them from the threat, and they don't make the link between the individual and the herd.
No, I think they think that the overall threat of COVID has been hugely overplayed.
Why? Why do they think that? What do they think the reason is for hugely overplaying the threat of COVID?
Well, the statistic, the death rate mainly. We've put a folder together, a side of a huge number of deaths.
No, you misunderstand me. Not the quotes, evidence end quotes that they've put to. Why are the government overestimate? What's the plan?
I think it's just the process of the way COVID has been put onto death certificates. And
but why are they doing that? Let's pretend that's true.
I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I think it was... No,
you misunderstand me. What is the plan that the government are following by doing this thing that we know they're not doing? But your mates, your colleagues, what do they think the plan is?
I don't understand your question, James.
Right, let me try again. So the COVID death rate is being exaggerated. Mm-hmm. For what reason?
There's no reason behind it apart from the process was wrong from the start. We've had suicides and murders classed as COVID deaths.
Yes,
I mean that's just ridiculous.
Right,
and that's added to the death rate.
So it's not so okay. So the perception among the people is that it's much worse than it is. How many COVID deaths have you dealt with?
I'd say probably back when the death rate was high. When we were talking thousands a day. With COVID, we were probably, I'd say 30-40% of the deaths that we were dealing with were classed as COVID.
Yes. So why would any authority be misleading the public about that?
Well, I don't think they're purposefully misleading.
Right, so it's an accidental misleading. And how does that lead your colleagues to think they don't need the vaccines? So they think that they're not questioning the infectiousness of it. They're not questioning that they don't think everybody who's died with COVID on their death certificate actually died of COVID, right?
Yeah.
Why does that stop them getting the vaccine?
Because it's similar to the flu, where at their age...
Are you describing your colleagues now, or are you describing yourself?
What do you mean?
Well, it's not a trick question.
No,
because the problem I've got is that you're not making any sense, but you've got this wonderful defence of being able to say this is what they think, and I can't examine them. So you are telling me that the coronavirus is like the flu, and that's why your colleagues aren't getting vaccinated.
Well, they don't take a flu vaccine, James.
No, but do you?
Because of their age. Do I?
Yes.
No, I don't take a flu vaccine. No.
And have you been vaccinated against the coronavirus?
Yes, I have, yeah.
At what point do you fail to explain to them why they should get vaccinated as well?
Well, my reason for vaccination was mainly because of the restrictions I felt I would be put under if I didn't have the vaccination.
Right. So you don't believe in it either then, as an actual guard against protecting the population from the virus?
I do for the elderly.
Right, and here we are. Okay. And as an Undertaker, you've only dealt with old people who died of COVID, and anyone who's young, that was a fake death certificate.
Well, no.
Or it was a doctored death certificate. It had stuff on it that wasn't true.
No, not at all, James. It's just the process of them putting COVID onto the certificate. If we were to look into that process, there have been failings in that, and that's that's why I think...
Yes, but you're sitting here now telling me you only got the vaccine so that you could retain your freedoms to go places. You're not actually worried about getting it because you're young and do you play rugby?
No, I don't actually.
So you're not worried about getting it. And then you read about all the people who've got it and have been very, very ill, or they've died, and they're probably younger, some of them, and fitter than you. And you think, oh, yeah, but they're the ones who had the death certificates that weren't accurate.
No, I don't.
I can't, mate. I can't. It's no offence. I can't do any more. I don't understand the point that you're making. All right, let's have one more go. How big a risk to your health is the coronavirus on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, now I'm vaccinated, obviously I think it's very low risk.
And before you were vaccinated?
Small.
Right,
small
there
risk.
it is, you see. Why didn't you just say that at the beginning and then I could have saved 10 minutes of my life, Edward? Why do you have to start talking about your colleagues? Why didn't you just ring in and say, I'm one of those people who thinks it's not a big problem or a big risk. I don't care about anybody else, despite being an Undertaker. I only care about my access to pubs and cinemas being limited, and that's the only reason I've taken the vaccine, because it doesn't actually pose a big health risk. And then tell you what, Edward, while you're here, why don't you try this line out on some of your clients' families when they come in to see you next time?
Well, James, the feedback I get...
It's 10:33. Thomas Watts has your headlines.